Welcome. This is Jay English of Honest Yoga, bringing you our new series called Mythbusters, which is where spiritual truths meet pop culture. Okay, so first thing I want to discuss for Mythbusters, something that I see all the time, is this idea of the law of attraction. If you think enough the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, the universe will turn into a genie and magically it will just appear right in your hand. And that's all you need to do. Sounds easy enough, but what we know doesn't quite work like that. One of the reasons why it doesn't work like that is because your subconscious is running the show. So if you think, oh, I want this external thing, but deep down, you don't really have the self-worth. If deep down, you don't really believe that you deserve that thing, it's not gonna happen. The law of attraction is really one of a series of laws that really needs to be in combination with other laws for it to be consistent. For instance, the law of action. If you try to manifest something and you're just imagining and you have no action, it's going to be a lot harder for the universe to make it happen in a consistent way. But if you combine your manifestation dreams, imaginations with the physical, then you make a bridge from your internal self, from your internal heaven into the world through action so that it can come to being. I know plenty of people who think, I don't gotta do nothing. I just gotta dream, journal, and I'm good. And every once in a while that'll work, but it's not consistent. If you're gonna see anybody that's gonna consistently churn out an amazing yearly salary, an amazing dream life, they're gonna have some action behind it that's consistent. Number 2 topic we like to tackle for our Mythbuster series is that bad things happen because you are under spiritual attack. As an energy healer and spiritual teacher, we get this one a lot. First thing I want to say is that most of the bad things that happen in people's lives are due to their shadow, not someone else casting a spell. Let me explain what I mean. If you do energy work, or even if you do spell work, you would know it takes a lot to influence somebody else's life in a consistent way. If people come to me all the time, I got a spell back 10 years ago, that's the reason why I ain't got no job, the reason why I just lost my girlfriend, the reason why I ain't got no health, and they just blame everything on this person. And if you go to this other person's life, their life ain't together either. So what the hell's going on? Well, let's break this down. The truth of the matter is, it is possible for people to influence you energetically, but it will be very difficult. They will have to be extreme master to influence you for 10 straight years without you intervening, unless you get them permission. And that permission comes from your shadow. That's why I said it is your shadow that accepts it subconsciously, same as we discussed with the law of attraction. If your shadow accepts the idea, it can perpetuate it on and on and on. And now it is casting a spell. You're essentially casting it on yourself. And that even goes for what we call intergenerational curses. Families casting spells on themselves over and over and over again with this belief that they have subconsciously that it's going to happen. The other issue is that even though a person, let's say if they're powerful and they have powerful intention, you yourself are the god of your space, the goddess of your space, is your domain. If you use your words of power, if you use your ability to make reality happen, you can change any spell that people have cast on you. It's just your choice if you want to be bound or if you want to be a creator, and you have to make that choice. And I always encourage people, if there's bad things happening in your life, be intentional about the way you speak, about your self-talk, about the music you listen to, about the food you consume. Change all of your input to a high vibrational, and you will see your life will turn around. That happens 100% of the time. The next issue we like to address is this idea that really heavy BDSM, extreme BDSM, is in alignment with what we call sacred sexuality.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
This is just not the case.
No!
And I want to be very clear on this, because sacred sexuality has meaning. It doesn't mean just any old thing can be thrown into that category. Fundamentally, BDSM has a lot of layers to it. But the key parts that are problematic, because there are certain things about BDSM that are not so bad. I mean, blindfolds, a little spanking here and there, even some handcuffs, power play, it's fine, a non-issue. Where I take issue as a tantra teacher, where I take issue as a person that holds that frequency for sacred sexuality, is when a person's primary way of getting pleasure is through causing others pain or through receiving pain. Most of the time, when that happens, there's typically some form of trauma that's happened to that individual. So before we go and call it sacred, let's first investigate and inspect, is it in fact rooted in trauma? And if it's rooted in trauma, then let's go about trying to heal that trauma, and that would be sacred, rather than perpetuating that trauma on someone else or revisiting that trauma through sexual scenarios that could in fact make it worse. Right? So to me, BDSM itself is right on that edge. You have to investigate it. But when we say, hey, I'm humiliating someone and this brings me pleasure, or when we say, hey, in order for me to get off, someone else has to bring me pain in such a way that leaves scars on my body. When those extreme things are happening, we should look at it and question, is this sacred at all? And the reason why people don't want you to look at it that way is partially because, of course, it's pop culture. BDSM sells, kink sells, but at a deeper level, there are darker forces that can transfer to you in the sexual exchange. Spirits with the energy of lust, spirits with the energy of rage, spirits with the energy of fear, greed, etc. And you have to be careful and protect yourself. And so holding a sacred space for yourself and for whoever you're in connection with that has some heart frequency, some adoration frequency, some love frequency to it is the best way to keep that space sacred. And you can still have a good time. You can still enjoy some power play. You can still enjoy a deep, heartfelt, emotional connection. You can still have amazing outer body orgasmic experiences, but you don't necessarily have to go into that darker element.